Hello, welcome back. Today we can discuss sanctions against Russia. Russia gold have been sanctioned. Hello. Yes, you heard that correct. Russian gold has been sanctioned. Sanctions against Russia is going to hurt the African nation. All of these gold nations in Africa is going to have a hard time. Maybe this is a retaliation from the collective West, the G7. Maybe they're retaliating against Africa now, because Africa is going to hurt. Gold mining in Africa is big. So gold prices is going to rise, and people do not need gold to survive. Gold, unlike oil and gas, you do not need gold to survive. You don't need to eat gold. You don't need gold for energy. The G7 have this week, yesterday, decided to sanction Russia gold. So far, the sanctions against Russia isn't working. Now the collective West media, the mainstream media, the CNNs, the NBCs, the BBCs, Sky News, NSNBC, all of these are starting to change the narrative now slowly. They are changing slowly now. Now this is from the New York Times. I'm quoting from the New York Times. They're saying the sanctions as boomerang. Yes, boomerang. The sanctions as boomerang, because the sanctions is not hurting Russia. Russia economy have risen. The ruble has risen to a 7-year high, because Russia don't need the collective West to trade. Their economy isn't based on Wall Street. The Wall Street doesn't control the Russian economy. They sell things. They sell gold, wheat, oil and gas. There's natural resources, aluminium, bauxite, things people need. Their economy is based on. It's not like the collective West, where they get Wall Street to manipulate stock prices so the collective West can benefit. These sanctions is very crazy. So far the sanctions isn't working, but somehow there's more sanctions. It's going to hurt the poor people. It's always hurt the poor people. It doesn't hurt the government that they're targeting. And they know it. They know it fully well, but they don't care. They sanction these nations because they want the people to rise up against the government and overthrow them, or make them so poor and weak they can't compete in the world market. Nobody will lend them money. Nobody want to do business with them. Or when people do want to do business with them, they come in, they get the natural resources for nothing. That's what these people like. And so far the sanctions has collapsed a lot of nations in Asia. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Myanmar. All of these nations is on the brink of collapse. Now Pakistan is running all over the place now, trying to borrow money because they have defaulted on their loans. They can't afford the high oil prices, the high wheat prices. They can't afford it. Sri Lanka, the same thing. You see how the people was in the streets there, uprising against the government. These nations cannot take the impact of high prices, and the poor people is who going to suffer, because they don't have the money. They don't have capital to go and purchase high wheat and high diesel or gas. so that they can run their business and feed their family. They don't have it. But the West don't care. If you look closely at Pakistan, this is a good example. Pakistan, they was close to China and Russia. When the war started in Ukraine, Pakistan ex-president Imran Khan, he went to Russia. He did a deal to get cheap oil and wheat from Russia. Now the collective West didn't like that. The United States and the European Union didn't like that. They wanted Pakistan to pick a side, and they want Pakistan to be on their side. Ditch Russia and be on our side. Within 2-3 weeks, the collective West, which control the army in Pakistan, overthrew Imran Khan from his position of government, prime minister. Why would they do that? And now Pakistan is in deep financial trouble, over defaulting on their debts. The collective West is nowhere to be seen. Even China has ditched Pakistan, and rightly so. Because Pakistan now is in the hands of the collective West. So America, the European Union, these are the people should be helping Pakistan financially. But they have thrown them under the bus. They are not helping them. They said, if you want loans, you need to go through the IMF. You know what the IMF is about. They're more about helping people. They can come and take all the resources and leave the people suffering, while putting all the resources into private hands. And most likely these private hands is going to be from the West. A lot of companies, corporations from the West, and come and clean up what is left. And that's what the IMF is about. Not helping people. Unfortunately, for Pakistan, they're gonna. I don't know. This is just crazy. It's so crazy. Nothing makes sense. But to the collective West, it makes sense. Where's their friend now, America and the European Union? They should be helping them. And I'm going to predict now. You see, the sanctions on gold, Russian gold, is going to hurt the African gold mining industry. These people get hurt, and most of the time, the African nations, because the big collective West run the mines there as well, and they're going to want to keep their profits high, and they're going to want to limit any losses, and they're going to lay off a lot of staff, a lot of workers going to be on the picket line. And they do not care about workers. All they care about is their profit, money. No human rights, no democracy, no liberty. They do not care about that. And if the and if the African Union have any common sense and see what's going on, they will come together as a bloc and throw all of these big corporations that is inside Africa out. Throw them out. Take back everything. All the natural resources that they be hoarding and getting for free, or next to free, get them out. We don't need. Look at France. France do not want to leave West Africa because it benefit them. France have nothing to offer the world. They're hanging on for dear death in West Africa. We need them out. They're trying their best to make sure they hold on to West Africa. Colonial times are over. But they still want to control West Africa because they don't have nothing else to offer the world. Now the West is starting to change a bit as well. Their script. They had a smoke screen up all along saying that these sanctions are going to destroy Russia, blah 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 blah, and nothing. It has backfired on them. Now they can't continue. Now even Ukraine is losing the war. Ukraine is losing soldiers. Like I think it's about 200 or 300 a day, and they can't afford to take the losses. But they're saying they still continue to say that Ukraine is winning, and we need to back the Ukrainian people. They are brave people. But when the war is over, the West is going to run and leave Ukraine as well. The European Union is not going to be there. The Americans is not going to be there. They are going to run and leave them. They're going to throw them under the bus. I don't know what crazy idea these people has come with. Only thing these people are interested in is money. They want more money and power. But they're losing the power. So when they can't gain power, they try to do it through financial means by weakening other nations. I feel sorry for Africa because that's going to happen soon. Because all the mines there is going to start cutting jobs. And hopefully the African Union can come together and stop this foolish craziness, because the African nations need to come together, be as one, build a bloc just like the European Union, and have collective bargaining power, because the world need Africa. Africa doesn't really need the world. We have all the natural resources there. I say we because I feel like I'm Africa as well. I haven't born there, but I'm African by heart and nature. I will love my brothers and sisters to rise up and get a share of the pie as well too. We need to have a voice at the table. The G7, we're from in Africa, where the G7 just had a meeting. Where was Africa at the table? Anyhow, I don't want to continue on this rant here. I know, as for one, Africa is going to seriously get hurt. And hopefully the African nation and the African Union can come together and form a bloc. Because you need to come together to have power. As I was telling you about the economy of Pakistan and Sri Lanka, all of these places is hurting, getting crippled. They can't afford the high gas and oil prices. So what is what I don't understand what sanctions are doing. Pakistan, Sri Lanka had nothing to do with what's going on in Ukraine. They will be happy now to buy gas and oil cheap from Russia, but they can't do it because the sanctions doesn't allow them to do it. India decided, we are not having any of that, and they decided to buy cheaper gas and oil so that they can look after their people. The West is not happy about it, but good. I'm happy for that. Even cooking oil is expensive. People are suffering. Basic food items skyrocketed because inflation means greed. Greed. The government can come together, the European Union and the collective West, America, Canada, all of these nations can come together and decided, okay, we can write off the debt for these poor nations. We can help these people. But they won't do it. because it's not about helping people. It's not about democracy. It's not about liberty. It's not about freedom. It's none of that. It's just BS these people peddle. They peddle a lot of BS. The weaker they are, the better for these people. If you're suffering, they have the upper hand on you. They don't want you to rise. They want you on your knees every time so that you can worship them. Anyhow, take care. And one thing about Pakistan as well, if I haven't mentioned it already, the USA and the European Union overthrew Pakistan government, ex-president Imran Khan. They overthrew him because he went to Russia. As soon as the war started, he was in Russia making a deal for wheat and oil, gas and oil. The United States and the European Union didn't like it at all. And they control the government there. I hope, hopefully, you can see what's going on. And now Pakistan is on its knees now. The collective West is nowhere to be seen. Anyhow, I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Because these videos, it's not going to be on no algorithm or suggested by YouTube or Facebook. So I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe. And get the word out to a lot of people, because knowledge is power. And if we get this knowledge out to a lot of people, to let them know not to listen to the mainstream news and the mainstream media and the politicians, because these people do not, I'm gonna say this one more time, these people do not represent us. They're working against us. Anyhow, take care, share, like, and subscribe. I'll catch you again. Bye.